Hello, ladies, gentlemen, boys, and girls. Nice to see you. Welcome to a Thursday episode of Wick TV. You know the drill. Cross-eyed ecological space, all that. Who's saying unhinged shit this week? Well, a lot of people are saying unhinged shit. I'm going to be saying some unhinged shit this week. Welcome to the show, Dylan Bowser. Input, output, goon afternoon. Is it an afternoon for gooning? Perhaps. Welcome to the show, Headless Chicken. I regret to inform you I am here. Well, I don't regret it. Thank you for being here, Headless Chicken. Today's going to be a semi-open thing. And so what I mean by that is I'm going to introduce the topic a little first. I'm going to have some me time, okay? Go through a couple things. And then I'm going to open up to anyone who wants to call in. Let me give you guys the link right now, actually, to the Discord. Doop-a-doop. Doop-a-doop. Am I going to say unhinged shit like those text leaks? Well, I'm going to read some of the text leaks. Does that count? Does that count? I don't know. Okay. And the responses to it, I think, are far more... Well, I don't want to say far more unhinged, but they're telling, and we're going to go over them, I think. Now, fair's fair. We do have some good examples of people on the right who are disavowing this, right? So there are a few on the right who have chose the path of principle, okay, who are calling this out, saying it has no place in the party, etc., etc., etc. Those people, unfortunately, are drowned out by the other side. And we're going to get into that. Schwango says, more typical right-wing insanity? Shocker. Is this shocking, though? Like, this is one of those things where it's not surprising at all. Like, none of this comes as, like, a revelation, at least to anyone who's been following politics for a while. Like, I wasn't like, oh, they're saying those things that a bunch of them say in public anyway. Like, I think the importance of this, though, is it gives the lie, right? It exposes the lie that many Republicans will tell you, which is, oh, we're better than the left. We don't do that kind of thing, right? And we saw this after the Charlie Kirk assassination. We saw this after, what was the other one? The ICE event, right? Where the guy with the anti-ICE bullet or whatever shot some detainees. We saw a bunch of people on the right, clutch their pearls and say, oh, we would never joke about these kind of things. We would never talk about these kind of things like that. The left is a bunch of unhinged, crazy people. And the right are small boy, good boys who never do anything bad. And we saw that discourse play out. And this kind of gives the lie to it. And the people who defend it also gives the lie to it. Like a lot of these people who pretended to be offended at what Jay Jones said, which, to be clear, Jay Jones said some unhinged shit and he should step down from his race, he should back out of it, right? Whatever the proper terminology is. He doesn't hold office, right? They pretended to care about that, but when these messages come out, they're like, fuck it, I don't care. I don't give a shit. The left just wants us dead. We should never disavow any of this. There's no enemies to the right. And they've said shit like this, straight up, straight out. And it's not nobody's. It's not one viewer Andy's. It's Matt Walsh, the vice president, J.D. Vance, a lot of people in positions of influence and power in the Republican Party with millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of followers all saying this shit. Okay. It's crazy town. It's crazy town. And we're going to go over it. We're going to talk about it. And again, it is going to be semi-open. So once I'm done introducing it, once I'm done going over some of the initial stuff, if you disagree with me, or if you think I'm overblowing it, if you think I'm overstating it or getting something wrong or leaving something out, or even if you want to agree with me, we're going to open it up. We're going to call in, okay? You're going to click that link, which I pinned. You're going to accept the rules. You can jump backstage, and we'll talk about it. Sound good? Sound good. Let's start this shit show. Give me 1 second. So, let's open up by going over the article itself. I think that's probably the wisest way to do this. And we're going to go through it. We're going to go through it quickly, and then we're going to go through some of the responses to it. Sound good? Sounds good. This is released from Politico. I love Hitler. Don't clip that, gang, okay? Leaked messages expose young Republicans' racist chat. And it has a bunch of the quotes and stuff like that. But we're going to get into it so we can see them in context, right? Here, let me get it a little bigger on text so you can actually read it. Okay. Leaders of the young Republican groups throughout the country worried what would happen if their Telegram chat ever got leaked. But they kept typing anyway. Am I getting an ad here? Shit. They referred to black people as monkeys and watermelon people and mused about putting their political opponents in gas chambers. They talked about raping their... whatever. Okay, we're going to skip the parts that are covered over. Guinta was referring to an upcoming vote on whether he should become chair of the Young Republican National Federation, the GOP's 15,000-member political organization for Republicans between 18 and 40 years old. I'm going to create some of the greatest physiological torture methods known to man. We only want true believers, he continued. 2 members of the chat responded. Everyone that votes no is going to the gas chamber. And everyone that endorsed but then votes for us is going to the gas chamber. When do we start bullying, dude? We have a solid 3 people who could probably have them want to jump. If they vote for us, why would they be gassed? When do we bring that side out? I'm going to create some of the greatest physiological torture methods known to man. We only want true believers. This is in response to if they vote for us, why would they get gassed? Can we fix the showers? Gas chambers don't fit the Hitler aesthetic. I'm ready to watch people burn now. We got to pretend that we like them. Hey, come on in. Take a nice shower and relax. Boom, they're dead. Can we fix the showers? Gas chambers don't fit the Hitler aesthetic, Joe Melingiotto, who previously identified himself as a general counsel for the New York State Young Republicans, wrote back. I'm ready to watch people burn now, Annie K. Caddy, New York's National Committee member said. The exchange is part of a trove of Telegram chats obtained by Politico and spanning more than 7 months of messages among young Republican leaders in New York, Kansas, Arizona, and Vermont. The chat offers an unfiltered look into how a new generation of GOP activists talk when they think no one is listening. Since Politico began making inquiries, one member of the group chat is no longer employed at their job, and another job offer was rescinded. Prominent New York Republicans, including Representative Elise Stefanik and State Senate Minority Leader Rob Ort, have denounced the chat. And festering resentments among young Republicans have now turned into public recriminations, including allegations of character assassination and extortion. A liberating atmosphere. The 2,900 pages of chats shared among a dozen millennial and Gen Z Republicans between early January and mid-August chronicle their campaign to seize control of the National Young Republican Organization on a hardline pro-Donald Trump platform. Many of the chat members already work inside government or party politics, and one serves as a state senator. So, just to be clear, these are people who are in positions of influence and power within the Republican Party already. These are people who sit as a state senator, at least one of them, right? And you can say, oh, these are just jokes. They're just being edgy. We're going to keep going. Some of this is obviously jokes, yes. That's true. But the question becomes, it's the same reason why you can have a group of people and 9 out of 10 of them will be saying something in jest. But that one guy, you got that one guy, right, who you know is not joking about it. Another example, and this is to the ladies out there, okay? If your guy friend jokes about having sex with you, I got news for you. Ladies, that's not a joke. He's not joking. He pretends he's joking. He says it as a joke. He ha-has at the end. But brother, sister, that's not a joke. They are not joking. Not really. They say it as a joke, but it is not a joke. And we all understand that dynamic, right? We all understand how people can use humor as a shield, as a kind of an escape hatch to say, well, I was just joking. Ha ha ha, it's no big deal. But for whatever reason, Republicans who are defending this forget that dynamic exists when it comes to these chats and things like that. Precognitive dissonance says, imagine if we had sex together, Wick. Ha ha ha. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's that dynamic, right? And come on, we all know it exists, where people will say something, they'll put an air of humor on it, but it's not a joke. They actually believe this. They actually feel these ways. They actually are wanting to do the things that they're joking about, right? And we're going to get into it, and we're going to keep going. And again, I'm going to ask people, what are the punchlines to some of these jokes, okay? I think it's also appropriate now to kind of acknowledge that, again, we have Asmongold, and this is in response to the Politico article. And he says this. He says, if you think all of these are jokes, you're in for a very bad time over the next 10 to 15 years. Because of course not. Asmongold is just correct here on this. He's just correct. If you're reading some of these messages and you think that they're all just jokes, you're going to be in a very bad time for the next 10 to 15 years because they are obviously not jokes. Not all of them. Some are. Some of those people are joking, but not all of them are. And that's important to keep in mind as we go through, okay? Oh, wrong one. You got to see my little screen. Oh, I'm exposed now. Okay. Together, the messages reveal a culture where racist, anti-Semitic, and violent rhetoric circulate freely, and where the Trump-era loosening of political norms have made such talk feel less taboo among those positioning themselves as the party's next leaders. The more the political atmosphere is open and liberating, like it has been with the emergence of Trump and a more right-wing GOP even before him, it opens up young people and older people to telling racist jokes, making racist commentaries in private and public, said Joe Fegan, a Texas A&M sociology professor who has studied racism for the last 60 years. He's also concerned the words would be applied to public policy. It's chilling, of course, because they will act on these views. And remember, these aren't nobodies. They're people who are writing laws. Okay? They're Trump appointees. They're state senators. They're people who are actively engaged in legislation and policy that actively have influence on this. Not Twitter nobodies, okay? Not people with 10 followers on Blue Sky. People with power and authority. The dynamic of easy racism and casual cruelty played out in often dark, vivid fashion inside the chats, where campaign talk and party gossip blurred into streams of slurs and violent fantasies. This is one of the guys, by the way. Bro, look, bro's got a few pounds on me, man. I'm not a spring chicken, you know. I'm not a thin boy, okay? I'm a little bit overweight, right? I'm about 180 pounds, just to be clear. I'm 5'8". Okay, so take that with me. This guy's got some chunk, okay? And all of these people, look, all of these people are fat. They're all fat. Nothing inherently wrong with that. But just keep that in mind that the people who are calling you slurs online, this is what MAGA looks like, okay? This is what the right wing tends to look like. They're all fat. They're all out of shape. They're all kind of like chunky monkeys. I don't know what to tell you. Chunky boys. Yeah, when these people say we will crush you, you should believe them. Yeah, true. They're going to sit on you. The group chat members spoke freely about the pressure to cow to Trump to avoid being called a rhino, the love of Nazis within their party's right wing, and the president's alleged work to suppress documents related to wealthy financier Jeffrey Epstein's child sex crimes. Trump's too busy burning the Epstein files, Alex Dwyer, the chair of the Kansas Young Republicans, wrote in one instance. Dwyer and Catty declined to comment. Maligno and Hendricks did not return requests for comment, but some involved in the chat did respond publicly. Giunta claimed the release of the chat is part of a highly coordinated year-long character assassination led by Gavin Wax and the New York City Young Republican Club, an allusion to a once obscure internecine war that has now spilled into the open. Now, this Gavin Wax guy is a guy that everyone's saying leaked this chat, okay? He's a guy that they say and claim leaked all these chats. I don't know if that's true. I have no idea. But a lot of people are big mad at him. They're calling him a Jew because that's the insult that they use when they're mad at you. The right will call you a Jew. And crazy that they don't want us to call them Nazis, by the way. But that's their go-to insult. Crazy they don't want us to call them Nazis, but you know, it is what it is. These logs were sourced by way of extortion. This is a quote, by the way. These logs were sourced by way of extortion and provided to Politico by the very same people conspiring against me, he said. What's most disheartening is that despite my unwavering support of President Trump since 2016, rogue members of his Rouge members of his administration, including Gavin Wax, have participated in this conspiracy to ruin me publicly simply because I challenged them privately. Okay. Wax, a staffer in Trump's State Department, formerly led the New York Young Republican Club, a separate city-based group that is at odds with the state organization, the New York State Young Republicans. He declined to comment. Despite his allusions to infighting, Giunta still apologized. I am so sorry to those offended by the insensitive and inexcusable language found within the more than 2,800 messages of a private group chat that I created during my campaign to lead the Young Republicans, he said. While I take complete responsibility, I've had no way of verifying their accuracy and am deeply concerned that the message logs in question may have been deceptively doctored. Maybe. Possible, I suppose. Is it likely? At least one person in the Telegram chat works at the Trump administration, Michael Bartels, who, according to his LinkedIn account, served as a senior advisor in the Office of General Counsel within the U.S. Small Business Administration. Bartels did not have much to say in the chat, but he didn't offer any pushback against the offensive rhetoric in it either. He declined to comment. A notarized affidavit signed by Bartels and obtained by Politico also sheds light on the inter-party rivalry that led to the Restorer Roar Room Telegram chat to be made public. Bartels references Wax as well. He wrote that he did not give Politico the chat and that Wax demanded in a phone call that he provide the full chat log. When I attempted to resist that demand after providing some of the requested information, Wax threatened my professional standing and raised the possibility of potential legal action related to an alleged breach of non-disclosure agreement, Bartels claimed in the affidavit. My position within the New York Young Republican Club was directly threatened. Okay, so I'm going to be real with you guys, just real quick. This portion of it, where it's all a bunch of infighting, I don't care too much about. Okay, I don't care about the squabbles, the internecine combat for status within the Republicans Party. I just I don't care. It is interesting in the sense that so this is how they got leaked, apparently, allegedly. Okay, fair. We understand now what happened. It was inter-party squabble, and one of the guys decided to leak one of the other guys' group chats. Someone else on Twitter, we're going to read that in a little bit, claims that there was blackmail involved, and we're going to read a lot about that. They claim that the guy who leaked it, Gavin Wax, was blackmailed to do so. And I'm very curious what that blackmail was, right? If that's true, and if the guy was blackmailed into releasing this, which it might not be true, right? It might just be an inter-party kind of conflict thing. I don't know. But if it is true that there was blackmail involved to leak this, I'm just really curious what they blackmailed him with. I mean, what was worse that you didn't want to get exposed? That happened. That was worse than what's in the group chat. What was worse? Just really curious. I don't know. That's just kind of an aside. But yeah, I don't know. $5 from Zephyr Hash to say, are we to believe MGT has never used an anti-Jewish slur? She's illiterate, so you best believe it. Oh, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Are we talking about that? Let's keep going. Walker, who now leads the New York State Young Republicans, touched on a similar theme, saying that he believes portions of the chat may have been altered, taken out of context, or otherwise manipulated, and that the private exchanges were obtained and released in a way clearly intended to inflict harm. He also apologized. There is no excuse for the language and tone and messages attributed to me. The language is wrong and hurtful, and I sincerely apologize, Walker said. This has been a painful lesson about judgment and trust, and I am committed to moving forward with greater care, respect, and accountability in everything I say and do. 251 times. Mixed into informal conversations about whipping votes, social media strategy, and logistics. The members of the chat slung around an array of slurs, which Politico is republishing to show how they spoke. Epithets like the F slur, retarded. Notice how they only will spell one out, okay? I just want to make it's kind of funny, right? Like retarded is not in the same boat as those two words, okay? Because you're spelling one out completely and the other two you're not. That's how you know that one of these things is not like the other. One of these words, retarded, I can say on stream. That's fine. I won't get any trouble on Twitch. No one will come after me, okay? Well, they might come after me, but they won't be successful. It's not against us. These other slurs, I cannot even say, okay? The N-word and the F slur, okay? I can't say those. I will get demonetized. I will get canceled. My money will be taken away, right? By Twitch. Maybe by YouTube, but I doubt, right? But I just thought that this was funny. That they include retarded in here. I would want to see. Look, I want to see what the numbers are with it without retarded. I just and specifically the slurs I don't care too much about. Okay, that's not the big thing for me in this. Like, okay, they called some people the F slur. I've called some people the F slur before. It just is what it is, right? Okay. I've never called anyone the N-word, but at least it wasn't a hard R, right? In one instance, Walker, who at the time was a staffer for Ort, talked about how a mutual friend in some of the chat dated this very obese Indian woman for a period of time. Gwynta responded that the woman was not Indian. See, these aren't slurs here, right? None of this is slurs, but this is this is indicative of a racism that I think is more damning than using a slur, personally. I think that this kind of like if someone implies that you dated an Indian woman to suddenly like, I would never date, she was not Indian, don't you dare say that. There's no slurs being used there. But that's indicative of a racism that I think is important to take note of, right? And I think is more damning than if someone used a slur. But that's me, personally. I don't know. She just didn't bathe often, Samuel Douglas, a state senator from northern Vermont and the head of the state's Young Republicans, replied to Gwynta. In a separate conversation, Gwynta shared that his flight to Charleston, South Carolina, landed safely. Then he offered some advice for his fellow Young Republicans. If your pilot is a she, and she looks 10 shades darker than someone from Sicily, just end it there. Scream the no-no word, Gwynta wrote. And people will say, well, this is a joke. He's obviously joking. But remember, the Republican Party, of which these people are a part and have influence and power, and in some cases are elected representatives of, are implementing policy that makes this not a joke. They're implementing policy to get rid of DEI, right? Some of them, the more extreme ones, are calling to repeal the 19th, to bring women back in from the workforce, back into the homes, right? They're actively trying to do this, right? So saying that this is a joke, how would you know? How would you even begin to say that when they're actively writing policy that makes this not a joke? I don't know what to, like, if you're saying this, like, you have to be willfully ignorant of what the Republican Party is actively doing and the people that they're actively courting to pretend that this is in any way obviously a joke. It might be, but it's a joke in the same way that you joking about wanting to have sex with your friend, wouldn't it be crazy if we had sex, is a joke. It's not a joke. You're just putting it out as a joke, but you actually mean it, right? I don't know. Like, the level of dishonesty to just pretend they're all jokes is astounding. Douglas did not respond to requests for comment. In a statement, Ort called for members of the chat to resign. I was shocked and disgusted to learn about the racist, anti-Semitic, and misogynist comments attributed to members of the New York State Young Republicans, Ort said. This behavior is indefensible and has no place in our party, anywhere, or public life. To be clear, this is a good statement. This is fine. Like I said, in this story today, in our discussion today, I am going to highlight Republicans who have done the right thing. I'm going to highlight Republicans and people on the right who've taken the right stance on this, who have condemned this. Now, do I think everyone should be fired here? No, right? I don't do the cancel culture thing, right? But you should have a problem with people in your party who do these and say these kinds of things. You should. You should have a problem with people in your party doing and saying this kind of shit. And you should call it out. You should not run cover for it. You should not run defense for it, which a lot of people are sweeping for it. Okay, and we're going to get to it. We're going to talk about it because a lot of people saw this comment and they're mad at her on the right. A lot of people are calling her a cuck. Is it a her or him? I'm not sure. A lot of people are calling this person a cuck. A lot of these people are calling them a traitor. They're calling them a Jew. That's their insult, right? They just call them Jewish. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. And like I said, they're all fat. This is a hefty boy, okay? Like I said, I'm not super skinny by any means, okay? I got a little bit of a gut. That's true, right? But this boy could eat me, right? He's like two of me. It's crazy. Walker has been in line to manage Republican Peter Oberacker's campaign for Congress in upstate New York, but a spokesperson for the campaign said Walker won't be brought in on light of the comments in the chat. The private rhetoric isn't happening in a vacuum. It comes amid a widespread coarsening of the broader political discourse, and as incendiary and racially offensive tropes from the right become increasingly common in public debate. Last month, Trump posted an artificial intelligence, an AI-generated video that showed House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries in a sombrero, besides Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, whose fabricated remarks were about trading free healthcare for immigrants' votes, a false, long-running GOP trope. The sombrero meme has been widely used to mock Democrats as the government shutdown wears on. In his 2024 campaign, Trump sped false reports of Haitian migrants eating pets, and at one of his rallies, welcomed comedian Tony Hinchcliffe, who called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage, and joked about black people carving watermelons on Halloween. Liz Houston, a White House spokesperson, rejected the idea that Trump's rhetoric had anything to do with the chat members' language. Only an activist left-wing reporter would desperately try to tie President Trump into a story about a random group chat he has no affiliation with, while failing to mention the dangerous smears coming from Democrat politicians who have fantasized about murdering their opponents and called Republicans Nazis and fascists. She said, No one has been subjected to more vicious rhetoric and violence than President Trump and his supporters. Crazy. I don't know. Why would anyone get the impression that the young Republicans and the people who are working in that group would seek to emulate President Trump? How would we ever get that impression? I don't know. This is like, the amount of gaslighting going on here, right? The amount of just willful ignorance that they have to pretend in order to keep up this false idea of reality, this fanfic that they've written, that President Trump's rhetoric and how he conducts himself, and J.D. Vance's rhetoric and how he conducts himself, the leaders of their party, right, the president and the vice president, have no influence or effect on the young Republicans and other groups seeking to curry favor and power in this administration. That they would have no effect or influence on these people is crazy. It's crazy. And remember, anytime some rando schizo on Blue Sky says something inappropriate, AOC's fault. These same people will blame the Democratic leadership, okay? Chuck Schumer, AOC, Nancy Pelosi, Elizabeth Warren. They'll all say it's their fault, right? This is a double standard at play here. This is the lie that these people, okay, will keep up. Rules for us, the Democrats, a standard held for the Democrats, but don't you dare apply it to them. Don't you dare ask them to take personal responsibility. Don't you dare, because then you're just a traitor. You're a Jew. You're a Jew in their eyes. That's what they will call you. These are people who are in positions of power. These are the vice president of the United States of America. These are the ones running cover, sweeping for this, defending this. It's not some no fucking name on Blue Sky. I don't know, man. Look, we should condemn when the Democrats or someone who is a Democrat or someone on the left says something inappropriate or does something inappropriate or violent or whatever. You condemn that. You don't hesitate. But remember, they'll never condemn their shit. They'll never take responsibility. Not a goddamn one of them. And they will pretend. They will close their eyes and cover their ears. And when you ask, they will pretend that no one on the Democrats have disavowed Jay Jones. And I can list dozens of senators, right, in Virginia and federally who have condemned Jay Jones's statement. Right? Look, I'll do it right now. Give me a second. Hold on 1 second. Hold on to your tits, gang. Okay, we're going to get there right now. Never let them gaslight you. Never let them lie to you, okay? Call them on their bullshit because they're fucking liars. Every fucking one of these fuck faces are liars. Okay, here we go. Ghazla Hashimi, who is a Democratic lieutenant governor, okay, in Virginia, says this on October 4th, 2025. There is no place for violent rhetoric in our politics. I spoke with J. Jones directly. These texts are unacceptable and deeply disturbing. We must reject this language outright. It's a verified post on Twitter that you can find with 800 plus likes. She emphasized unity and follow-up replies, but did not demand withdrawal. Okay, but it is a condemnation. Don Scott, the Democratic House Speaker in Virginia, says this on October 3rd. These messages are reprehensible and have no place in our discourse. Todd Gilbert is my friend, and violence against any colleague or their family is unacceptable. 450 likes, 120 reposts. He called for accountability in a video clip attached. Mark Warner, the U.S. Senator from Virginia, says this. Warner shared a joint statement with Tim Kaine on October 4th. We condemn J. Jones' remarks. There is no place for political violence. These texts are wrong and harmful. Tim Kaine, again, on October 4th, violent rhetoric like this, again, he's a U.S. Senator, not some nobody, says violent rhetoric like this divides us and endangers our democracy. J. Jones must own these words. We stand against any form of political violence. Virginia's future demands better from all of us. Louise Lucas, who is a state senator in Virginia, joint post with Mamie Locke on October 5th. Jane Jones' comments are deeply disturbing and unacceptable. There is no place for political violence or violent rhetoric in our public discourse. Mamie Locke, again, we reject this a state senator from Virginia. We reject this language entirely. It has no role in Virginia politics. Accountability is key. Virginia Democratic Party, the official account, says violent rhetoric has no place in our party or politics. We condemn the text from J. Jones and call for full responsibility. Terry McAuliffe, who is a former governor of Virginia, says this on October 3 in a reposted Spanberger's statements and said, strongly agree, disgusted by these texts, no tolerance for violence in politics, period. Jennifer McClellan, who is again a U.S. representative from Virginia, says this on October 5th. These messages from J. Jones are abhorrent and unacceptable. Political violence threatens us all. I condemn this rhetoric unequivocally. So, just to be clear, if anytime any fucking lying Republican tries to tell you that people on the left don't disavow J. Jones, you call them a fucking liar, and you show them these texts, and you show them these tweets, and you show them this, right? How almost every Democratic representative from Virginia has condemned this again and again and again, but they don't live in reality. They're fucking lying to you. They are liars. I want to get this very clear. Every fucking one of them are lying to you. They are liars. If anyone says that the Democrats don't disavow J. Jones, they are a liar. And we have evidence of this. Evidence of this. But they will ignore it. They will pretend it doesn't exist because it doesn't fit their fanfic narrative of the world. And they use this to justify stripping you of your rights, coming after your family, coming after your kids, right? Trying to strip your neighbors of their citizenship. They're doing that right now. They are destroying this Constitution, taking away your ability to speak freely right now. Not possibly in the future, right now. Today. So fuck off, any of you who are saying, oh, the Democrats support J. Jones. No, they fucking don't. Get the fuck out of here, you liar. That's what you tell them. That's how you treat them. That's what they deserve. Jesus, I hate liars. I do. I hate liars. I hate these fucks so much. Anyone who pretends, who is given the truth and chooses to ignore it. Over and over and over. Fuck. It's exhausting. And they'll pretend. And they'll pretend that the Democrats are the ones who are dishonest here. That's what they'll pretend. They're liars. Every single goddamn one of these fat fucks. And they're all fucking fat, too, right? They're not going to come after you because they can't chase you, okay? All you have to do is walk the fuck away, and they'll get a heart attack when they're trying to come after you. Jesus Christ. Oh, sorry. I'm a little heated. I'm a little upset. Okay. Let's keep going. It's a day, gang. It's a day. In the Restore War Room chat, Guinta tells his fellow Republicans that he spoke with the White House about an endorsement from Trump for his bid to become chairman of the National Federation. Trump and the Republican National Committee ultimately decided to stay neutral in the race. A White House official said it has no affiliation with Restore Young Republicans and that hundreds of groups asked the White House for its endorsement. Guinta was the most prominent voice in the chat, spreading racist messages, often encouraged or liked by other members. When Luke Mosselman, the chair of the Arizona Young Republicans, asked this to the New Yorkers in the chat were watching an NBA playoff game, Guinta responded, "I'd go to the zoo if I wanted to watch monkey play ball." Guinta, elsewhere, refers to black people as the watermelon people. But don't you dare call them racist. That'd be weird. That'd be inappropriate to call them racist. Hendricks made a similar remark in July. Bro is at a chicken restaurant ordering his food. Would he like some watermelon and Kool-Aid with that? Hendricks was a communications assistant for Kansas Republican Attorney General Chris Kobach until Thursday. He also said in the chat that despite political differences, he's drawn to Missouri's Young Republican organization because Missouri doesn't like F-slurs. This is the guy. This is a dude coming to call you an F-slur, okay? He's on his way. Oh, Lord, he's coming. Oh, Lord, he's coming. Oh, hide your chicken. Oh, he wants all your diabetes medication, okay? This is what he's coming for, okay? Jesus. Remember, this is the average Republican. This is what they look like. This is who's calling you an F-slur online. This is who's saying stuff like, "Oh, we are going to fucking kill you." Which, again, I've gotten thousands of messages from people who look just like him, right? Republicans who are telling me that they're going to fucking kill me, okay? Crazy shit. Politico reached out to Dan Nerdy Herbert, a spokesperson for the Attorney General who also served as the Kansas GOP chair, and shared with her excerpts of the chat involving Hendricks. In response, Herbert said that we are aware of the issue raised in your article and that Hendricks is no longer employed in Kobach's office. Here's a text and reacts from Alex Dwyer, Peter Guinta, and Rachel Hope. Alex Dwyer says, "Yeah, I had some back and forth with a VC in Michigan. Current chair is a deer in headlights. We have a call Wednesday." Peter Guinta says, "Many agree." Alex Dwyer says, "He did say, my delegates I bring will vote for the most right-wing person." Peter Guinta, "Great. I love Hitler." Don't clip that, guys. Is that a joke? Maybe. Is that a joke that someone who is in any way, shape, or form connected with political power should be making? No. In another exchange, we already read that. Guinta, who served as a chief of staff to New York State Assembly member Mike Riley, ultimately fell 6 points short of winning the chairship to lead the Young Republican National Federation earlier this year, despite earning endorsements from Stefanik and longtime Trump advisor Roger Stone. Riley did not respond to requests for comment. Earlier this year, Stefanik accepted an award from the New York State Young Republicans. She lauded Guinta for his tremendous leadership in August and had her campaign and the political PAC she leads donate to that state organization. Alex DeGrasse, a senior advisor for Stefanik, said the Congresswoman was absolutely appalled to learn about the alleged comments made by leaders of the New York State Young Republicans and other state Young Republicans in a large national group chat. According to the description provided by Politico, the comments were heinous, anti-Semitic, racist, and unacceptable, he continued, noting Stefanik has never employed anyone in the chat. If the description by Politico is accurate, Congresswoman Stefanik calls for any New York Young Republicans responsible for these horrific comments in this chat to step down immediately. Fine response. There's nothing wrong with this response. A lot of people on the right will call her a cuck, say she's a traitor. They'll call her a Jew. Stone also condemned the comments in a statement. I, of course, have never seen this alleged chat room thread, he said. If it is authentic, I would, of course, denounce any such comments in the strongest possible terms. This would surprise me, as it is inconsistent with Peter that I know, although I only know him in his capacity as the head of the New York Young Republicans, where I thought he did a good job. Few minority groups were spared from the Young Republicans group chat. Their rhetoric, normalized at most points as dark humor, mirrors some popular conservative political commentators, podcasters, and comedians amid a national erosion of what's considered acceptable discourse. Gwinta's line on a darker-skinned pilot, for example, echoes one used by slain conservative activist Charlie Kirk last year, when he said, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. Kirk was discussing how diversity hiring invites unwholesome thinking. Walker also used the moniker Eye Patch McCain, originally coined by conservative commentator Tucker Carlson, in an apparent reference to GOP Representative Dan Crenshaw. Crenshaw lost his eye while serving as a Navy SEAL in Afghanistan. Walker also makes the remark, I prefer my war heroes not captured, a repeat of a similar 2015 line from Trump. Art Gibson, a professor at the University of Dayton who specializes in white racial extremism, surmised the young Republicans in the chat were influenced by Trump's language, which he said is often hyperbolic and emotionally charged. And yeah, of course he is. Of course they are, right? Do you not think that Republicans, especially young Republicans who want to get into politics, right, aren't going to be influenced by their political leaders? Of course they're going to be, right? They're going to emulate them. Yeah. Yeah. No shit. True. That's just true. They're going to emulate them. And that's why we have an erosion of how we treat each other, is because the people at the top of the ticket are the ones treating people like shit and getting rewarded for it. So yes, it's going to erode public discourse. And yes, you're going to have more and more people who unironically will echo their sentiments and emulate their behavior. Yeah, of course. Trump's persistent use of hostile, often inflammatory language that normalizes aggressive discourse in conservative circles can be incredibly influential on young operatives who are still trying to figure out what is that political discourse, Gibson said. Gibson reviewed multiple excerpts of the Young Republicans chat provided by Politico. One was a late July message where Mosiman, the chair of the Arizona Young Republicans, mused about how the group could win support for their preferred candidate by linking an opponent to white supremacist groups. But Mosiman then realized the plan could backfire. Kansas Young Republicans could end up becoming attracted to that opponent. Can we get them to start releasing Nazi edits with her, like pro-Nazi and fascism propaganda? He asked the group. OMG, I love this plan, Rachel Hope, the Arizona Young Republican Events chair, responded. The only problem is we'll lose the Kansas delegation, Mosiman said. Hope and the two Kansas Young Republicans in the chat reacted with a laughing face to this message. Hope did not respond to requests for comment. Mosiman declined to comment. Gibson said the Young Republicans' conversations reminded him of online discussions between members of neo-Nazi and white supremacist groups. You say it once or twice, it's a joke. But you say it 251 times, it's no longer a joke, Gibson said. The more we repeat certain ideas, the more real they become to us. Weeks later, someone in the chat, staying in a hotel, asked its members to guess what room we're in. 1488, Dwyer responds. White supremacists use the number 1488 because 14 is the number of words in the white supremacist slogan, we must secure the existence of our people and a future for white children. H is the 8th letter in the alphabet, and 88 is often used as a shorthand for Hail Hitler. In another conversation in February, Gwinta talks approvingly about the Orange County Teenage Republican Organization in New York, which appears to be part of the network of national teenage Republicans, and how he was pleased with its young members' ideological bent. They support slavery and all that shit. Mega-based, he said. The term based in internet culture is used to express approval with an idea, often one that's bold or controversial. They support slavery and all that shit, mega-based, okay? And I've talked to Republicans, people on the right, in private, And they'll say things like, I can't be too based on Maine, right? They're worried because they have otherwise non-political accounts, right? But privately, they hold too based opinions, like repeal the 19th and um, supporting slavery and all that shit, right? Uh, so yeah, this is a real thing. This is why it's not shocking. None of this shit's shocking to me. Like, none of this shit was a big revelation. Like, young Republicans are super right wing and want to repeal the 19th and support slavery? Yeah, no shit. I don't know. What are you guys saying in chat? Are you guys yelling at me? Sorry, I don't mean to ignore you, chat. I'm just in it to win it here. Okay, $5 for Lawson Harrison to say, Wick, stop yelling. We're trying to turn the temperature down here. Look, yes, but in order to turn the temperature down, we have to excise bad elements. We have to excise the arsonists. Okay, the people who are starting the fires. We have to get rid of them. And part of those people are the people who are running defense for this kind of language and this kind of talk, right? $5 to Zephyr Hash. Wow, all these Republicans canceling their aides and campaign workers. Why did the Democrats force them to do such a thing? Yeah. It's funny. Like, a lot of the old school Republicans don't like Nazis. Crazy. They don't like it. It's true, right? Like, here's the greatest problem I have with MAGA is that it's taken a respectable party, a respectable political force, the Republicans, conservatism, and it's killed it, it's skinned it, and it's walking around in a skin suit, right? Pretending to be it. Okay? And a lot of the people who are younger will only know conservatism through the lens of MAGA. They'll think that's what conservatism is, when MAGA is an enemy to conservatism. Okay, I think Counterpoints is going to be talking about that later tonight on the Raging Tomato. You should check him out. But yeah, that's one of the big problems I have with MAGA is that they've turned conservatism into a shell. And so yeah, you're going to have a lot of the old school Republicans who will see this kind of shit and not want anything to do with it. Okay, and there are quite a few. Okay, I don't want to count them. I don't want to discount them. Like, James Lindsay is an excellent example of someone who's called out this shit and also called out the people defending it. He makes very cogent arguments about how they need to excise these elements within their party. I don't agree with him politically on a lot. In fact, very little. But on this, he's correct. When James Lindsay says that there is a problem with the woke right on the right, this is who he's talking about. But the unfortunate thing, and where I think that he's kind of kicking at the pricks, spitting into the wind, is I think he's already lost. I think that the James Lindsay coalition or whatever on the right, they've lost. They've lost influence. They've lost power. They are not really within the levers of who's calling the shots in the Republican Party anymore. Now it's Stephen Miller, J.D. Vance, those types. Those are the people with the keys to the kingdom. And those people are all little authoritarian F-slurs. I don't know how else to say it. That's what they are, okay? That's all they are. I don't know, man. It's crazy. And like, oh, don't you dare call us Nazis, bitch. Look at what you got in your little staffer's little hanging thing. Well, what am I supposed to call you? If you're hanging up this on your board, what else am I supposed to call you? What other term would it be okay to use? What should I call you? You're a Nazi. If you're hanging this shit up, you're a Nazi. But it's just jokes, right? It's all joking. You're just joking about it, right? It's all like, ha ha ha. Like, no, I think it's okay to call you a Nazi when you put this up. Yeah, guess what you are. Or at least you don't have a problem with Nazis, okay? This is at your workplace. It's just there, and no one. I mean, look. To this congressman, I forget his names. To his credit, the congressman who this staffer worked for called the police on him and is investigating it. So credit where it's due. But the fact that there are so many people on the right who just feel comfortable doing this, crazy. It's crazy. And they think it's based. And they will call the congressman who turned him in, they'll call him a Jew. Unironically, they will. They'll call him a traitor and a Jew. That's their favorite insults on the right. Okay. Gier saying that, but I'm also saying about people who don't put it up. When have I said that? Like, why do you guys put words in my mouth? You can just listen to what I'm saying. If you're hanging that up, I'm going to call you a Nazi. If you're turning that person in, or if you're condemning that person, you're probably not a Nazi. It's easy. If you're defending that person, you might be a Nazi. I don't know, but it makes me suspicious. But no, I will save my N-words, my Nazi calling, for the people who put stuff up like that and the people who say, I love Hitler and things like that. Like Myron Gaines, for example. Big right-wing influencer, says Hitler was okay, actually. I think it's okay to call him a Nazi. It might not be technically accurate, like he might be like a fascist of a different bent. But I think Nazi is a good shorthand. It's fine. If you're saying you love Hitler and things like that, and you're defending Hitler, I think I don't know. I think it's okay. I'm not really gonna be too concerned. $2 was ever asked to say he might be Hindu or Buddhist. Wait, he might be, I suppose. I don't think he is, because it was caught in a call he did. Actually, that's how they caught him. He was the whitest guy you ever seen. $5 for Dwight Baldwin to say you need to drop word filler. Like, unironically, it's so low brow. Drop word filler. What word filler am I using? Am I using a word filter on here? Look, if for whatever reason you're getting censored by YouTube mod filter, it's not my fault. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to turn it off. So I apologize. It's not my intent, and if you can figure out how to turn it off, I'll do so. But yeah, if you're like, well, maybe he's Buddhist. I guess. I don't know. Like, I mean, maybe, perhaps. But here's Myron Gaines, by the way. Yeah, we like Hitler. No one gives a fuck about what you woke Jews think anymore. Bro was a revolutionary leader to save Germany. The Jews declared war on Germany first. Bros, I don't think he's joking. I think he's pretty serious. I think he means it. He doesn't seem to be. I don't see a LOL. I don't see a smiley face. I don't see a /s. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's okay to call him a Nazi. What do you think? I like Hitler. If you're saying, yeah, we like Hitler. Okay. Oh, so you're a Nazi. I don't know. Look, you shouldn't call people who aren't Nazis Nazis. That would be wrong. But I think if you're hanging up a swastika, if you're saying you love Hitler, am I crazy, gang? Is this an unfair standard to hold people to? Is this an unfair standard to hold people to? I don't know. I just think it's oh, unironically is used as word filler. Oh, fair enough. $5 from Dwight Baldwin to say unironically is word filler, adds nothing to your speech, makes you look bad. Okay. I'm doing this off the cuff. I don't have a script. I do use word filler at times. Sorry. I didn't write a script. So this is all off the cuff. This is all just kind of off the dome. Maybe I'm not the best orator. apologies. But I'm giving you real, raw, unscripted, okay? So there are downsides to real, raw, and uncensored, okay? Real, raw, and unscripted. And one of those downsides is, yes, I will use word filler, like unironically. I will use word filler, like But one of the benefits is that you get my honest opinion. So, Wick being right on this has nothing to do with whether Wick is crazy or not. I am pretty crazy. I'm crazy for you, chat. Okay? I'm crazy for you. So, yeah. Fair criticism. No, it's okay to call me out on stuff like that, by the way. I'm not offended or anything. And I'll try to reduce my word filler words. Okay, let's see what's going on here. We got some people in chat that want to come in. I'm gonna let them in. We're gonna go real quick through the rest of this. I think we got just a little bit left. I'm gonna go real quick, and then we're gonna pull in callers. Okay, we're gonna talk about it. I was shocked and disgusted to learn about the reports of comments made by a small group of young Republicans. Just as we call out vile racist and anti-Semitic rhetoric on the far left, we must not tolerate it within our ranks. Members of the Telegram chat speak about their personal lives too. Extensive discussions about their everyday lives include one exchange about how devoutly Catholic some chat members are and how often they attend church. Many of the slurs, epithets, and violent language used in the chat often appear to be intended as jokes. Mosiman was derided by members of the chat as as words I can't say on Twitch, as a B word and a S slur. Stay in the closet, F slur. Walker of New York also jested in July, though he is the group's main target for the same epithet. The group used slurs against Asians too. My people built the train tracks with the Chinese, Walker says at one point, referring to his Italian ancestors. Let his people go, Maligno respond. Keep the word I can't say on Twitch, though. In another instance, Mosiman tells the group that the Spanish came to America and had sex with every single woman. Sex is gay, Dwyer writes. Sex? It was rape, Mosiman replies. Epic, Walker says. Is that a joke? Probably. Is it appropriate to joke about when you're a politician or when you're serving in public office? Maybe not. But if this was the worst of it, okay. But it's not. As you see, there's more explicit malice in some phrases too, especially when they turn their ire on opponents outside the chat, such as the leader of the rival Young Republicans' late Hayden Paget, who defeated Gwinta and was re-elected chairman of the Young Republican National Federation this summer. So you mean Hayden Efsler wrote the resolution himself? Gwinta asked the group about the National Young Republican chair in late May. Rape Hayden, Mosiman declared the following month. What's the punchline here, gang? Like, what's the joke? I don't get it. You gonna rape him? Is that funny? Adolf Paget is in the F-slur bunker as we speak, Walker said in July. Paget responded to the chat's language in a statement. The Young Republican National Federation condemns all forms of racism, anti-Semitism, and hate, and I want to be clear that such behavior is entirely inconsistent with our values. It has no place within our organization or the broader conservative movement. This is Samuel Douglas. Again, they all look like this. Okay, they all look like this. Gwinta also has expletive-laden criticism for the Young Republicans in states that were supporting or leaning toward Paget's faction. Minnesota F-slurs, he messaged, continuing, Arkansas inbred cowfuckers. Nebraska revolts in our favor, blocked their bind and have a majority of their delegates. Maryland, fat stinky Jew. Rhode Island, traitorous cunts who I will eradicate from the face of this planet. Guinta also said he planned to make one of the competing young Republicans unalive himself on the convention floor. In another instance, Douglas, the Vermont state senator, described to the group members how one of Paget's Jewish colleagues may have made a procedural error related to the number of Maryland delegates permitted at the national convention. I was about to say you're giving nationals too much credit and expecting the Jew to be honest. Breonna Douglas, Sam's wife, and the Vermont Young Republicans National Committee member, replied to her husband's message. Breonna Douglas did not respond to repeated requests for comment. This, dear viewer, is not a joke. If you think this is a joke, you are mistaken. She is not joking. She is using Jew, as many others in the right use, as an insult. To be labeled a Jew is to be labeled less than, is to be lesser than. This is not a joke. She means it. I don't have to have mind reading powers. I just have to look at the context of the statement, and I have to have the context of the Republicans and the right who are saying this kind of shit every day, all day, and in response to this, right? In response to anyone condemning this, they're called a Jew. While reporting this article, Politico was examining a separate allegation that Guinta and the Young Republicans mismanaged the New York organization's finances and hadn't paid at least one venue for a swanky holiday party it hosted last year. Politico's report detailed how the organization was missing required financial disclosure forms and how their subsequent efforts to file the forms revealed the organization was more than $28,000 of debt. As of Tuesday, updated records show the organization is more than $38,000 of debt. Donations to New York State Young Republicans' political account must be reported to the State Board of Elections. Expenditures must be reported too. At the time, Guinta told Politico the allegations were nothing more than a sad and pathetic attempted political hit job, but in their War Room chat, he and Walker speak flippantly about mishandling the club's finances. New York NYSYR account be like 500, Balding Cream 1,000, Ozempic. Walker said in one message, the Young Republicans will be declaring bankruptcy after this. I just know it, he said in another. I drained $10,000 tonight to pay for my next vacation to Italy. Guinta appeared to joke about the organization's bank account. I spent it on a massage, he says of another check that was deposited in the account. Great, can't wait to get sued by our venue, Walker replies. Members of the chat occasionally appeared to be aware of its toxicity and even made remarks that considered the possibility someone outside their tight-knit group could view it. Walker seemed to consider the possibility the most. In one instance, he joked about bombing the Young Republican National Federation convention in Nashville and then remarked, just kidding, for our assigned FBI tracker. In another, he considered the totality of the thousands of messages he and his peers had written and what would happen if the public saw them come to light. If we ever had a leak of this chat, we would be cooked for real, he wrote. There you go. That's the article. Let's bring on some guests. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Witt. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry for making you wait. I just wanted to make sure to get through the article first, right? How you guys feeling?
I'm pretty okay. Finally hear from you. It's been a long time.
Yeah, I haven't seen you around in a bit, but nice to see you. And nice to see you as well. So okay, let's just open it up. Thoughts, opinions, the group chat leak. Does it matter? Who is this? Just boys being boys?
Yeah, I think it matters.
Oh,
you go first.
This whole conversation that they've been having with this has really just reminded me of what Lee Atwater had to say about the Southern strategy, and what we're seeing now is just the natural evolution of that. If you don't mind, Wick, if you give me just a second, I'd like to read the quote, just so everybody's informed as to how all this started. Is that all right with you?
Yeah, go for it.
You mean the Lee Atwater quote?
Yes, exactly. For those who do not know, Lee Atwater was a campaign strategist, was the main campaign strategist for Richard Nixon. All right? And this is what he has to say about the Southern strategy. Y'all don't quote me on this. You started out in 1954 by saying hard R, hard R, hard R. By 1968, you can't say the hard R anymore. That hurts you. Backfires. So you say stuff like forced busing, states' rights, and all that stuff. You're getting so abstract now that you're talking about cutting taxes, and all these things you're talking about are the totally economic things that a byproduct of them is that blacks get hurt worse than whites. And subconsciously, maybe that is part of it. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is that if it is getting that abstract and that coded, that way we're doing away with the racial problem one way or the other. You follow me? Because obviously sitting around saying, we want to cut this is much more abstract than even the busing thing, and a hell of a lot more abstract than hard R, hard R. They're just not coding their language anymore.
Well, they don't need to anymore. This is part of the Trump effect, if you will, is that they know that they will get rewarded, in fact, for saying this kind of thing. And in fact, they are. A lot of them are being praised and defended by the Vice President of the United States and Matt Walsh and other people, right? A lot of people are just saying, we don't care. And then they're just nothing's going to happen to them of any real import, really, I don't think. What do you think, Linda?
I mean, yeah, I don't. Oh, wait. Hold on.
You still here?
Yeah, I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah. What's up?
Okay. Yep, I can hear you too.
Okay, good. I don't disagree with any of that. I was actually going to bring that up, the whole Lee Atwater thing. Like, this is what happens. This is a natural
I'm sorry to steal your thunder.
No, it's okay. It's fine. This is a natural culmination of what happens when you when you don't excise these types of people from your party, and instead you just tell them to use different language and to kind of be quiet about it. And then you get Donald Trump coming in and he breaks that taboo and says all this insane stuff. And now we have this ridiculous double standard where the left where like JD Vance and all of these same guys will blame everything on the left, and they will not, and they'll refuse to condemn any of the bad stuff that's on their side, whether it be the violence or the or like this stuff from this group chat. And then he lies about it and says it's a bunch of college kids when it's not. And I just watched Tim Pool reacting to it, and he was doing the same thing.
So I'm putting up on the screen so people can see it, some of the responses to the Young Republican statement. Now, in fairness, the board of directors from the Young Republicans put out a statement, and this is, I think, a fine statement. I don't think that you can have much criticism for this statement. I think it's expected when these things happen. I'll just read out this statement in the interest of fairness. It says, we are appalled by the vile and inexcusable language revealed in the political article published today. Such behavior is disgraceful, unbecoming of any Republican, and stands in direct opposition to the values our movement represents. Those involved must immediately resign from all positions within their state and local Young Republican organizations. We must hold ourselves to the highest standards of integrity, respect, and professionalism. And that's from the official Young Republicans account. I don't see a problem with that statement. Do any of you see a problem with that statement?
No, that's good. There are obviously going to be, like, I did notice that there were some people that were condemning it. I suspect that the dividing line between who condemns it and who doesn't is very likely going to be between who are like the more like sort of new generation MAGA people and like the more old school Republicans. Well, who, like, recognize, yeah.
I don't want to go through all the quote tweets because there's some slurs in there and I don't want them on screen. But here's a few. What an absolutely disgusting group of scumbags these Young Republicans who posted this are. They should be shamed for the rest of their lives for putting out this tweet. Weak and pathetic people. And this is Anthony Sabatini with 223,000 followers. So not nobody. He's a county commissioner for Lake County, Florida District, a Republican, an attorney in a law firm. And to be clear, the shame for the rest of their lives for saying that those involved must immediately resign from all positions, and that joking about rape is disgraceful, unbecoming of any Republican, and stands in direct opposition to the values. That statement is what Anthony Sabatini here is calling... is the reason they're calling these people scumbags, I guess.
Yeah,
You
because
have
they're
Anthony
'cause
Bradley.
It's the form of you're cucking out. Why are you
Yeah.
condemning this?
Yeah. Anthony Bradley, 57,000 followers. Research at the Acton Institute in Kuiper College says this. This is exposed so much. These young Republicans. Oh, sorry. This is actually a good statement. My bad. These young Republicans are absolutely classist and seriously deficient in moral virtue. They are also cowards for not policing this nonsense. D. Profundus, who's this guy? Okay, only 262 followers, so just kind of a nobody. But he says this. The right is thoroughly screwed if this is the type of backbone they're going to be showing. This level of weakness is embarrassing. Gavin Wack should be the one under fire from those on the right. Terrible look for young Republican National. And we could go on. We could go on, right? But the replies and the quote tweets, as you said, they're a mix of people on the left condemning it and a couple of people on the right condemning it, but a lot of people on the right just calling them cucks. We can look at what J.D. Vance had to say. And let's listen to it for a minute.
I watched this earlier.
By focusing on what kids are saying in a group chat, grow up. I'm sorry, focus on the real issues. Don't focus on what kids say in group chats. But there's another angle to this that I just have to be honest about. I mean, I'm like an old guy at this point. I'm 41 years old. I have 3 kids.
Hey, Wick, I'm sorry. I don't think anybody can hear the video, buddy.
I can hear it. You have to turn up the stream volume.
Can you guys not hear it?
I can hear it.
Okay, so
I don't know if the chat can hear it. They should be able to hear it, but my chat can hear it and I can hear it.
okay, well, we'll keep going.
I grew up in a different world, right? Where not most of the stupid things that I did when I was a teenager and a young adult, they're not on the internet. Like, I'm going to tell my kids, especially my boys, don't put things on the internet. Like, be careful with what you post. If you put something in a group chat, assume that some scumbag is going to leak it in an effort to try to cause you harm or cause your family harm. But the reality is that kids do stupid things, especially young boys. They tell edgy, offensive jokes. Like, that's what kids do. And I really don't want us to grow up in a country where a kid telling a stupid
These
joke,
aren't fucking
telling a
kids,
very
goddammit.
offensive, stupid joke is
I
cause to
know.
ruin
Give
their
it a
lives.
minute.
And
Let him
at
finish.
some point, we're all going to have to say, enough of this BS. We're not going to allow the worst moment in a 21-year-old's group chat to ruin a kid's life for the rest of time. That's just not okay. Like, we live in a digital world. This stuff is now etched in stone online. We're all going to have to say, you know what? No. We're not doing this. We're not canceling kids because they do something stupid in a group chat. And if I have to be the person who carries that message forward, I'm fine with it.
Okay, as Headless Chicken, so prematurely got it off.
Yeah, sorry about that. It just pisses me off.
I understand.
Yeah, they are not
They aren't
children.
Kids, right?
One of them is a state senator, and another one works in the White House, for God's
And they're
sake.
working to get these guys elected too.
Yeah, these
Not
are.
only are they running, but they're working to get them elected.
And this is why I called J.D. Vance a liar, is because he knows this. He's not unaware of the ages. They're not much younger than him. He's 41. I think the oldest person in there was 40, like a year younger than him. Most of them that were named were in their late 20s, mid 30s. These aren't children. They're not kids. And he knows this, but he's pretending. This is what Republicans do. They pretend, right? They pretend that reality is one way when we all see that reality is the other way, right? They pretend it's just kids when we know that these people are elected representatives or working for elected representatives. And this is the kind of language they find acceptable. This is the kind of behavior they find acceptable. And the behavior that apparently J.D. Vance is willing to lie to cover for and to run and sweep for. It's fundamentally dishonest, right? And this is their trick, and this is what they'll do. They will paint a picture of reality that is fundamentally untrue, fundamentally dishonest, and they will use that fanfic that they have written to justify their bad behaviors. $5 from Alexander Rin to say, are these recent chats or from a long time ago? From the last 7 months. So, is 7 months a long time ago?
JD or like Tim Pool said the same thing, by the way, on his show. He said the same line. So they've all gotten the marching orders. They're just kids. We don't care what kids say. It's just a meme. It's just a joke, bro.
Once again, I want to bring up what Asmongold said, because we're going to quote Asmongold because he's correct here. Let me bring it up on screen.
Wait, Asmongold is correct? I'm shocked.
I know, but he says this. If you think all of these are jokes, you're in for a very bad time over the next 10 to 15 years, because he knows they're not all jokes.
Sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry, wait.
It's fine. They're not all jokes. Some of them, surely. I'll even grant you that some of the people in there were just joking. But the problem is, too many of them weren't. And too many of those things that they said were not jokes. Again, what is the joke when they say, why do you expect a Jew to be honest? What's the joke there? What's the ha-ha? What's the funny? What's the punchline? And to people who are saying, well, I joke like this all the time. Who have you joked about raping? Right? Which of the women in your life have you joked about raping? I'm curious, right? I'm just very curious. I don't know. I've made jokes about rape in general, right? What's an activity 9 out of 10 people enjoy?
You are kind of sexy, right? Man. I don't think you need to be raping nobody.
I'm not, right? But there's a difference between that and then singling someone out by name and saying we're going to rape them. That's not the same. And let's stop pretending that it is. It's not. And this pretending that goes on the right so that they can justify their bad behaviors and bad actions and sweep under the rug all the people who are unironically, like Myron Gaines, saying that they like Hitler and they're tired of, and they don't care anymore what the Jews think. I don't know what to say, right? Like, do we have anyone who disagrees in chat that wants to come in, by the way?
The one thing I'd like to add is J.D. Vance kind of gave up the game. He said, these kids shouldn't be posting this stuff on the internet. But he didn't say this stuff is wrong. He gives away the game by not condemning what was said.
$20 from Grassroots Hegemon to say, I'd be cautious around saying that this is who Republicans are wholesale. I don't want to share that box with these people. These aren't conservatives. Grassroots Hegemon, to be clear, and I've called out a few, but I'll call out more as we go. There are some Republicans who are condemning this. That's true. It's not all Republicans. I don't mean to be painting with too broad a brush, but there is a sizable undercurrent of people who are in political power in the Republican Party who are refusing to condemn this, who are sweeping for this, and who are, in many cases, agreeing with this being said, like including the vice president. So while it might not be all Republicans, I think that it's right and good to call out the people who are doing this kind of thing. Like, again, I showed it on stream earlier. Let me bring it up again, maybe. The guy who... Here, I'll bring it up real quick. Like, what else am I supposed to call a guy who puts this on their wall? Right? What else am I supposed to say? Like, what other word is there?
Nazi.
Yeah, they're a Nazi.
Neo-Nazi. How about neo-Nazi? There
Whatever.
you go.
Same thing. Okay, I don't give a shit, right? Like, I don't know. Like, I wouldn't say that everyone on the Republican Party is doing this. They're not. But the ones who are, I'm going to call them a Nazi. I don't know. What else are they? I don't know. I don't know. But $20 from Alexander Wren, and then I'll let you go, Kalinda. I know you wanted to say something. To say, well then, these aren't kids that are joking around. They were adults that made obscene comments. Maybe some things are sad and said in jest, but also has an undercurrent of what they actually believe and feel. Grassroots Hegemon for $20. The undercurrent comes from one location. It's populist. Populism is a cancer. That's true, actually. Grassroots Hegemon, that's true. But we have a large undercurrent of populism on the right growing. There's some on the left too, and that's a concern. But this is what we're talking about today. We could talk about the left another day, I promise. Also, I wanted to put in, again, I keep saying, I keep talking too much, and I'm sorry, but I'm stealing all the airtime. But I think it's important to bring up. There is jokes that people say that they do, and they actually mean it. I gave this example earlier in the chat. And, if your guy friend jokes about having sex with you, they're not actually joking. They're saying it as a joke, but they actually believe what they're saying. They actually mean
Again,
it.
Wick, I think you're kind of sexy, buddy.
You know what I mean? Like, people will say, like, you know what? It wouldn't be crazy if we had sex. Ha ha ha. The guy who's saying that isn't actually joking. I'm sorry to say it. I don't know if you didn't know that already, but they're not joking. It's not a joke. Anyway.
The other thing I'd say is, your jokes are a portal into your soul. That's just simply how it's always been. Whatever you choose to joke about is exactly who you are. Your choice of topic, your choice of words.
Yeah.
Considering that that's all those guys those were, I mean, unless Politico like left some stuff out, it seems pretty likely that everybody in that group chat, that was what that was all they were joking about. It was all just Jews and gas chambers and like Hitler and like just racist shit. Yeah, I think that says something more so than, because sometimes people will be edgy and make edgy jokes. But I think that's different than. But if that's if every single one of your jokes is just entirely about the Jews, then I gotta wonder.
It brings up questions, right? And again, these aren't no names on Twitter. These aren't people who are on Blue Sky with 10 followers. These are people who have positions of influence and power, and in some cases, at least one, are an elected state senator. Someone
did they give
who
the name
holds office.
of the state senator?
They did, but they named them, but I forget who it is off the top of my head.
Okay, I saw that I think one of the first people that they linked in there, they linked to William Hendricks's Twitter, and I went to it, and his account is gone. So rip.
Shocked. I'm totally shocked. Just like Hassan's dog.
He just that guy just noped out of there.
$5 from Zephyr Hash to say, does it make you happy destroying millions of boy-girl friendships, Wick? Another Democrat destroying the fabric of society and destroying men? I'm not destroying your relationship. I'm upgrading it, okay? Because believe it or not, some of those women, they're not joking when they joke about it either, okay? So just transcend. That's all I'm saying, okay? It could be destroyed, or you could transcend. That's up to you. Go get your bag, king. That's all I'm saying, okay? But yeah, I don't know, like, what other kind of angles should we be taking with this? Like, it's really
I grew up
blackpilling
down here in the
in
south. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, it's really blackpilling me in a lot of ways because I want to believe that there's a lot of people who will condemn this, and that the majority of people on the right will condemn this. I'm just not seeing that. I'm seeing a majority of people condoning it and a minority defending it. Or I'm sorry, a minority condemning it and a majority defending it. But that might just be my feed, right? I don't know. It's hard to make blanket statements like that. But I do know that when you have the vice president defending it, help me not get blackpilled here. What's the hopium here?
I ain't got no hopium, man. I've been watching this shit happening since, the 90s whenever I was growing up down in the Ozarks, I still live in the Ozarks. It used to be a fucking sundown town, This I've seen this coming for literally decades. And I don't understand why y'all motherfuckers are shocked that this is happening. If any of y'all been paying attention, you can see this coming from a mile away, from years away. But, people just don't want to look at stuff. And as for the black pill stuff, man, I've been black pilled for fucking ever. I just got hope that the Democrats will win so that, well, I look at it this way. If you take a look at the makeup of Congress, I take a look at the racial makeup of the Republicans and then the racial makeup of the Democrats, and I know which version of America I want, and it certainly ain't all one fucking color, The only thing that's beautiful about life is seeing all the different kinds of people in the world. That's all there is to it. There ain't no difference between me and somebody from Pakistan or somebody from India or somebody from Australia. We're all just people. And I hate all these motherfuckers acting like what they look like is what everybody else should look like. This tribalistic bullshit is just nonsense.
I'm going to be real with you, man. I don't care what a group looks like. I care what they think, right? So whether they're all white or no white, I don't give a shit. I just care
What
what
they think is expressed in how they vote, and how they vote
Well,
is
I agree with you. The
elect-
Republicans are voting really weird, right? But I'm telling you, like, I don't care that if the whiteness
I
of a
don't
group doesn't
care if
matter
they're
to
all
me.
white on one side. That ain't my point. What they want is people to all look the same on their side. That's the problem. And if the GOP votes for a bunch of white people and only white people, and the Democrats vote for all the different races, that's an expression of their beliefs. Period.
$5 from
And
gelatinous.
dancing around saying, "Oh, sorry, go ahead,
No,
do
it's
your
fine.
super chat thing."
$5 from Gelatinous Rube to say, let's find and redacted every single Dem criticizing them. Cancel culture was 10 years ago. To cancel these guys in the span of a week, no mercy. Jump on stream, Gelatinous Rube. Let's talk. $5 for Jolts to say, these are just kids, but the TikTok kids laughing at Kirk weren't just kids. Weird, huh? So again, Jolts, these are state senators. These are 35-year-old men and women. Is it they were just 35, you sicko, right? Like, no, they were grown ass adults. I don't know what to
At
tell
18,
you.
they're fucking growing ass adults, and everything
look,
they say
the
after
people
they're
on
18
TikTok-
should be held against
The
them.
people on TikTok making those disgusting jokes should be condemned too. But as far as I know, none of them were a state senator. None of them held office. None of them were staffers for elected official. Not that I'm aware of, at least.
and they
those
also
who
didn't
did that, who
represent
were
the
elected in
Democratic
office,
Party.
should step down. It's easy to condemn.
They also didn't represent.
They
The
don't
Democratic
condemn it because they
Party
agree
either.
with it.
Yeah, and that's
Also-
I
what
think
it is.
That's,
They
hold on.
agree.
Let's
They
give the new
haven't-
guy a chance. New guy, go ahead.
So the thing is, if you go on the extremes in America, every extreme is going to act like that and say fucked up shit. But the difference is, in the Republicans, it's way more normalized within their party. Whereas in the Democrats, saying extreme far left stuff is not as normalized. That's the difference.
True.
You do
Also,
that
it
shit and let
was-
these spaces and motherfucker call you out.
It was Samuel Douglas. Samuel Douglas is the name of the state senator from Vermont. He is the one who, and he's been called on to resign by others. But I mean, I don't know what he has said in response to this. But yeah, that was the guy.
Because the thing is, if you look at very far left queer groups in America, they are definitely going to support socialism. But you know what they aren't? They're not mainstream Democrats.
They also don't vote for or support Democrats more often than
Which
not.
is funny.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's another problem. Like,
Good
the difference
point.
between the far left and a Democrat is the far left will talk shit, but the Democrat will do shit. Like, the Democrat will actually
Yeah.
get shit done. And this,
But the far right and they vote for the Republicans, which it's
Always. Okay, there's an old saying, Democrats fall in love, Republicans fall in line. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. That's why I call them off. Because people didn't fall in love with her. But people were already in love with Trump.
yeah.
People don't vote on facts, people vote on feelings. And I don't give a fuck about people's feelings.
is what is.
I care
that's
about
for sure.
consequences. And, all these Republican states out here getting hurt because of Trump's trade policies, fuck them. They voted for it. H.L.
Well,
Mencken said,
Look,
democracy
Headless,
is the idea that...
this is where we part ways. I don't want them to hurt. I want them to have good lives.
I don't want him to hurt either. That's why I voted for Harris.
You just said to
Jesus
fuck
Christ.
them.
It's my
You
actions
just said
speak louder
fuck
than my
'em.
words.
He's saying, I mean, they're the leopards eating people's faces, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
I mean, yeah.
These are the natural consequences of their actions. And I have never, ever not been, what's the word I'm looking for? Thrilled to see people suffer the consequences of their own actions. It's no different than COVID, whenever all the anti-vaxxers say, no, don't do it. And they were dying in the hospital. I was laughing at that shit, too.
I have to say that, like, I sincerely hope that, yeah, I do kind of want them to hurt, because I want them to realize that this is Trump's fault and then vote Democrat next election.
I
But
don't
I
think that's
guess-
how that
yeah.
works, though. I think what
If
they're
they
going to do
don't,
is
they're
they're
going
going
to
to
get what
blame.
they deserve.
They're going to blame
It's
Jews.
that simple.
They're going to blame minorities. They're going to blame
Oh
trans.
yeah, I know.
They're going to
It's
blame anybody but
unfortunate.
themselves. People ain't got no capacity for self-reflection no more.
Well, it's like I said earlier in the stream, right? When someone said, well, and I hear this refrain all the time, that the Democrats don't disavow their extremists. And they use Jay Jones as an
What?
example. How
They always do.
Yeah, the Democrats don't disavow Jay Jones. And I listed off, I think it was like 8 state senators, representatives, House representatives, federal senators, like, what's his fucking face? What's his name? It's Tim Kaine. That's sorry. I should know
He's the
this name,
senator
right?
from Virginia,
Yeah.
is he?
Virginia, right? Like a lot
Yeah,
of these,
Hillary's,
Louise Lucas,
VP
Tim
pick.
Kaine,
Yes.
Mark Warner, Don Scott, Ghazla Hashmi. Anyway, all these people who are condemning and disavowing Jay Jones for his comments, okay? And I tell them this, and then they say, well, AOC didn't do it. As if that... And you're like, AOC, who's
They
not
got
even
to find
in
something,
Virginia?
anything, so they can hold on to their identity. That's all this is. This is all fucking bullshit identity politics. They
Yep.
complain about it all the fucking time and practice it all the time. They just practice it on white folk.
Oh, speaking of identity politics, I was talking about that in general chat with some other people. Just like the intersection of identity and ideology.
You're cutting out, man? What are you saying?
Yeah, you're cutting out a bit, bud.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. So earlier today in general chat, I was talking to some people about the intersection between ideology and identity.
Your microphone.
Yeah, dude, I don't know.
I'll come back.
Not...
Can you hear me?
Sort of.
Yeah, we can hear you. You just cut in and out, bud.
Okay, I think I can fix that.
Okay, go fix that and get it right, and then come back and we'll maybe see what we can do. $5 from Old School to say Wick TV. I haven't seen you once disavow Senator Schumer's treasonous call for violent insurrection against Trump. So shut the fuck up. What? Link it. DM it to me.
Hey.
We'll watch it on screen.
No,
Yeah,
hold
for
on.
real. I want to see that shit.
Yeah.
Get that guy on. Come on.
Yeah,
Someone,
come
there
on-
must
come on
be a
stream.
mega person in the chat who is willing to come in here. We will not. Wick won't let us dogpile you, I'm sure.
But yeah, DM it to me.
Yeah, I wanna hear
We'll watch it
somebody
on
come
stream,
on
and
like
we'll
that.
see
Yeah.
this
Let's get a
treasonous call
writing
for
on here.
violent insurrection against Trump. Let's watch it. I'm willing, as long as it's not like 20 minutes. Is it like
You know what
2
it's
minute
gonna
clip or
be?
something?
It's gonna be Schumer like telling people that they should go protest.
Well,
And he's gonna
let's see
maybe
what it
use
is.
Colorful language about how we have to fight this, and they're gonna call that. They're gonna say that that's violent insurrection.
Well, let's see.
Is this
Again,
better?
hold on. I haven't seen it, so maybe it's something bad. I don't know. DM it to me on Discord.
I can't imagine. It's Chuck Schumer. That guy is so old. Like, imagine him calling for any sort of violent insurrection.
Hell yeah, age discrimination.
Oh yeah,
Let's
if you
go.
rickroll me, I'm gonna ban you. Like this better not be like some fucking rickroll or something.
Oh my God.
Show me what you got. I'm willing to watch it. I haven't seen it. Is all.
Do I sound better?
We won't know until you speak a little longer.
Alright. I guess I'll just talk about what I was going to talk about. So earlier today on general chat, I was talking to some people about like identity and ideology, specifically in regards to like trans issues. But the more I thought about it throughout the day, the more I'm like, you know what? That's kind of that's some interesting points they made where it's like, well, everyone has an ideology. And thinking back on it, I think I should have said, well, everyone has an ideology, but only the most pathetic people in existence decide to make their ideology their identity.
Amen to that.
That's fair.
Your mic sounds very static, or your mic sounds kind of staticky, but otherwise,
It's-
yeah, we
it's
can hear you.
better.
And we
It's
heard
much
that-
better
yeah,
than it
it's
was,
quite- It's
and
a
I can
lot
actually
better,
hear it.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're not cutting
Yeah.
out now, yeah.
Okay, when I get this clip, we'll watch it, but I haven't gotten it yet. So
He's probably
I'm-
not going to send you anything.
Should we do the Jeopardy tune?
Well, no, I mean,
I mean, if
like,
you want me
look,
to,
it might
like,
be hard to
say-
find me on Discord. I don't know.
If you want me to like steel man like the Republican position,
No,
mean,
I
I'll
don't need
probably
I
lose
don't need
'cause their
steel mans
arguments
today.
suck.
If Republicans want to come in and say
Yeah,
I'm
bring it in.
overblowing things or whatever, they can.
Yeah, it
something else.
is fun. steel man and nonsense sometimes.
Oh, I love it. I get high off it.
Hell
Weird.
yeah. That dopamine, man, can't live without it.
Yeah, I'm a raging masochist. I love losing debates.
So we still waiting on this video? Or
Yeah,
what?
hold on. Well,
Is
look,
that
let's
person
look
still
at some of
around?
the more responses here while we wait.
Well, have a good day. I gotta go.
Yeah, see you later.
Nice
Nice
talking
talking
to you.
Let's talk about this. This guy wasn't in the group chat, but apparently he was friends with a guy in a group chat. Let's see what he has to say. Yeah, he made a call out. This guy named Aiden, okay, claims that it was his friend that got blackmailed. A friend of mine got blackmailed into leaking these chats. A total fucking coward and a useless piece of shit. One of the people in there, he attended his wedding with me, and he still sold him over to the devil. All over some useless young Republican beef. And then the GOP condemned them. Fuck these people. The GOP treated to fire my friend and vice chairman from his AG job because of TikToks I posted about immigration. I wasn't allowed to talk about replacement theory or any mainline immigration stances. They asked me to resign over Trump's green card diploma mill comments. I was blacklisted by Young Republican National and blocked by their account because their leader is a BLM sympathizing closet case. Everyone in this article is a patriot, and everyone attacking them is a dirty, treacherous, impotent, cowardly bundle of sticks. Sorry. They all deserve to be destroyed.
Isn't bundle of sticks a Jewish trope too?
No, I don't think so. I think
that's the
it's
F
the
slur.
That's the F slur.
Okay,
But
I
gay people.
gotcha.
different thing.
Thank you. I knew it was an insult of some sort.
Yeah.
That's like ridiculous that was like the thing that because like Tim Pool said that too. Like the thing that he was most disgusted about of this whole thing was the disloyalty crap. It really says something about you when the thing that you are most angry about is the fact that like someone leaked these chats rather than the stuff that was in them.
Well, it's loyalty to a fault. Like there's this idea among the right, Matt Walsh's
Yep.
and stuff like that, that there are no enemies to the right and that you are never allowed to you hear this on the left too, right? Don't punch left, never criticize the left, right? It's this kind of extremist ideology and mindset that these people have, and it's a way for them to kind of parasite organizations and parasite groups. And this is what the right has done, is they have made it verboten to criticize them because you're never supposed to criticize Republicans. You're never supposed to punch right? And so therefore you got people who like this guy who wants to talk about the replacement theory apparently. I
would like to take a moment to say this chicken avatar that I'm using, I call it my Charlie Kirk. I got all sorts of different colors and stuff that comes out of my neck. But this one is
Jesus Christ,
specifically
dude,
called
that's
Charlie.
not appropriate.
Oh my god.
That's not appropriate. Seth Dillon, who's actually, I said I'd highlight people who are condemning this. And I want to highlight this because this is a good, I think it's a good argument from their side. It says, the people who insist, quote, no friendly fire, no exceptions, unquote, were also disgusted, rightly, that almost nobody on the left condemned Jay Jones. That's not true, right? But let's go with it for the sake of the tweet. This is drawing lines based on principles something only leftists have a moral obligation to do? According to the right, many on the right, yes. Not everyone, as Seth Dillon here shows us. But yeah, they will call out the Democrats for refusing to disavow Jay Jones, even though, again, I listed earlier on the stream, at least 10 who did, right, who hold positions of power. But yeah, they will call anyone who condemns the bad actors on their side traitors and Jews. That's what they call them. They call them Jews. I don't know. It's just crazy.
Yo, Wicca, Old School said he sent it to your ex in your Discord DMs.
Oh, give me a second.
Is Old School too much of a coward to come on?
I don't know. I'm not going to show my Discord DMs online. Twitter DMs online either. Let's see.
Yeah, I don't want
can...
you sharing my nudes, Vic.
True. Let's see if I can get this up in a separate. Hopefully he linked it. Okay,
It's just such a hallmark of tyrannical.
Okay, is there a way to? Oh, it's a short. Oh, that's annoying, but we'll deal with it.
Oh God.
Is there a way to rewind
down,
this?
let's
Yeah,
not
there is.
go.
Okay, let's see what Schumer says. This is the insurrectionist violent rhetoric. Okay, let's see what he has to say.
It is just such a hallmark of tyrannical, autocratic dictatorship societies that they use the prosecutorial department as a political weapon. It is a disgrace, and every American, I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, liberal, conservative, moderate, people should be forcefully rising up against this. It is just such a hallmark of tyrannical,
Really?
autocratic.
That's it.
Forcefully rising up against it.
Okay.
What happened to the end there, Wick?
It looped.
It ended and then it looped because it's a YouTube short.
Yeah,
and,
that's why I don't like
It's
shorts.
entirely possible. Also, I can see the source of this. Hold on.
Do we have a longer clip? I don't know. Is there something else I should be looking at here? Like, did I get the wrong link? That's not. Why is that violent rhetoric?
I don't know. I certainly feel energized to go out and
Forcefully
inflict
rising up
violence
against
upon
this?
those I dislike.
I guess if you
Oh,
think
sure.
if you think this is violent rhetoric, then surely you think when Trump said you have to fight, right? Or you're going to lose your country, then you would say that that's violent rhetoric too?
Also, keep in mind when Trump said that, he wasn't just saying like when Trump said that, that was after a long, like, that was, how long was it? Like a year? It was like a year's worth of him, like, basically priming his supporters into thinking that the election had been stolen. Even before the election, he primed them into thinking that it was going to be rigged and that the mail-in ballots were rigged. So,
Yep.
like, that speech that he gave on the ellipse, that was like, when you put that into context, it just makes it even worse. Like, that on its own, that would be maybe like whatever, if like maybe he had just started saying that day. But the fact that he spent so much time priming these people into believing that their country had been stolen from them. I mean, what did you expect that they would do?
Stop taking a holistic view, God damn it! Don't look at the whole thing. Look at each piece individually. That's what matters.
I don't know. I don't think
just
that's
extrapolate
insurrection.
from one little thing to another. No, you got to take a look at the little things. You can't take a holistic view of things. Don't you know a holistic view just tells you everything about somebody, and you can't avoid situations that'll otherwise hurt them.
Yeah, that was Chuck Schumer, by the way, for those who are asking. That's Chuck Schumer, the Democratic Party leader, saying that we need to, what was it? Forcefully rise up against lawfare, basically.
I'm trying to find like any talk about this, and all I'm finding is just Republican crap. That's just going to be like
It's just a
the
desperate
10-second
attempt
clip.
to show both sides are bad. That's all it is. That's gameplay 101 for the Republicans.
Yeah, I know,
It's
but
to
I want
find
the
some
whole
way to
thing.
false hypocrisy.
I want the
It's absurd.
context.
Well, the context was he's like talking about the political weaponization of the justice system.
Oh yeah, I know, but I want to hear like more. Like I just want to make sure that it was
I don't know. I don't see any riots in the streets. Okay, I don't see anyone doing any violence because of this.
I
Maybe I'm
don't usually
missing it.
speak to chat directly, but GR104, as a matter of fact, I was married to my stepsister for a time. You happy now? Yeehaw!
I don't know. I
Base,
just look if
lean into it.
if you're calling out this,
Amen
but
to
you
that.
don't think that the Trump rhetoric is anything, I don't know what to tell you, right? Like, I don't know. I just think that like if that's all Trump had said, by the way, I wouldn't have a problem with what Trump said. If that's all that had happened, and he said you need to fight like hell, or you won't have a country anymore. Okay, I don't think that's in alone in a vacuum anything worth doing anything about. The problem I have with Trump is that he concocted a plan and enacted a plan outlined in the Eastman memo to put fraudulent state electors up, okay? And then he directed people, right, to this rally to go in And he refused to call the National Guard when it started getting violent. And he waited hours before calling off his dogs here, right? That's the difference. And Chuck Schumer saying that, if you have evidence that he's concocting a plot to assassinate
have us all
judges or
invade
something,
the Capitol like
okay,
they did.
then fair, that's evidence, right? But in a vacuum, that's nothing. I don't know, like, that's just true. So am I going to
But if you take a
No.
holistic view and quote snap things he said in the past, I'm pretty sure you could build a very thin case about some
And I'm not
stupid
look,
thing.
I'm not going to let people pretend that that's me being hypocritical. It's not. I'm not going to let people pretend that this is a big deal when it's not. Let's not pretend. Let's not play this game. Right? Let's not do this. I don't know. Perkunas says, wasn't the National Guard denied by DC Mayor and Pelosi? There were videos of them coordinating this? Brother, he's been sending the National Guard, Trump has been sending the National Guard wherever the fuck he wants without governor approval, state approval, any kind of approval. He just sends them there, right? Trump could obviously have done it with or without Pelosi's approval. Why would he need his or her approval?
I don't think he fully
Lactoid,
understood
hold
all
on.
of his authority back in 2020.
Lactoid is in the
happened.
chat. Get
Oh.
Lactoid in here.
We
Come
gotta
on,
pull
Lactoid.
Lactoid
Are
in?
you want to come on? I see
wanna
it. He's
jump
in the
backstage?
chat.
Oh yeah, I want to see somebody give cover to this. Yeah, absolutely.
Lactoid will absolutely give cover to this.
Well, he's invited. I've invited a lot of people who haven't showed. Jebtan had a lot to say on Twitter, but nothing to say in VC. Apparently, nothing on stream at least. Not today.
I
when I
don't blame
invited
them.
him.
This is very
We have
hard to
Lactoid,
defend.
who I did invite, but he said he might be busy. But you're in chat. Are you too busy to talk?
Eating crayfish right now and responding to emails for work. I do defend this though. Of course you do, Lactoid, because you agree with it.
Lactoid, I'm just really curious. Which people in this space, which women in this space have you joked about raping? If you think that's okay, which ones have you done? You've never. No, Lactoid isn't a coward. Lactoid will come if he can. Okay. But if he can't, that's fine. We'll do it another day. But I'm just really curious, right? If you think that it's okay to joke about raping people, which people in this space, which women have you joked about raping? Just really curious.
Rape is never funny.
Lactoid says, I have the perfect response to this question. Okay. But you're not allowed to joke apparently anymore?
You fucking coward. You
I'm
fucking
waiting for the
coward.
response. I give you the pass, okay? You get the wick pass. As long as there's no slurs, okay? Nothing that's going to get me demonetized, right?
Jay Jones has already been taken care of.
Like, Jay
Miss
Jones isn't going to
Nola.
get elected, gang. He's going to lose his race. As he should.
Because of this, he's going
As he
to.
should. Because Democrats don't vote for people like that.
We've all disavowed his bullshit, but y'all got to keep that up in order to do your both sides are bad bullshit. It's fucking tired.
Lactoid TV says it's going to be a quick your mom, but it won't hit now. Oh, well. Oh, well. Dank Middle says, rape is never funny to a person who jokes about Charlie Kirk's assassination. What do you think I have an opinion of people who joke about Charlie Kirk's assassination? What do you think my opinion of those people are? Not good.
Probably very poor.
Yes, very poor. That's not
Disagree.
the W you think it is. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't look like we got anyone coming, unfortunately. They're all busy or whatever.
Cowardly or
It is what it is. So, do you guys, either of you, have any last words on this? Any last thoughts? Then I'm gonna let you go, and then I'm gonna close this out with some other things. But any last opinions?
all I got to say is I don't give a damn whether or not you agree with these guys or not. What I care about is if you vote for it, and if you vote for it, I don't want nothing to do with you. I know who y'all are. I grew up around you. There's more Confederate flags out here than U.S. flags. So y'all can like try to act like you're not racist as fuck, but y'all are racist as fuck and you vote for it. Yeah, they got some minorities to fall for Trump's line, but they're suffering just as much as anybody else. But I also don't know if they're recognizing that fact, you know?
Okay. Kalinda, go ahead.
Um, not really much last words. I guess I mean, this is pretty blackpilling, but it's also really not surprising. I mean, this is the trajectory we've been on. The double standard is incredibly infuriating, and I hate it very, very much. If you are interested in anything, oh, also, Wick, you should be sure to, I don't know, shoot me an invite if you do like a more formal panel where people actually decide to come back on this particular topic.
Sure.
Because I came in here, I really wanted to scream at people tonight about the stupid double standards, and I'm sad that nobody came by.
Well, it was, to be fair, it was kind of an informal thing. I shot out shotgun invites to a bunch of people. It was last minute, right? So fair.
Yes.
That's fair, right? That they can't make
Yeah.
it. That's all perfectly fine. But
yeah, that's fair. That is completely fair. Anyway, yeah, I'm streaming over at Kalinda, K-A and then Linda, except Linda with 2 I's, on YouTube right now. I'm gonna be doing some other stuff. I'm gonna keep streaming after I leave. If anyone is interested, feel free to come on by. Anyway, yeah, have a good one. Bye, Wick. Bye,
Oh yeah,
Headless
sorry
Chicken.
about that. I forgot I stream under Headless Chicken as well, just Twitch TV Headless Chicken.
gotcha.
Hey.
I play games and shit.
See you guys later. That's okay, Perkunza. There is a law. So Perkunza says you were right regarding Trump needing Pelosi to call the National Guard. I was misled regarding the National Guard. That's fine. Yes, there's a lot of misinformation out there, so I do appreciate that. Yeah, I just don't look. None of this is surprising. None of this is shocking. This is just what we already know. Okay, it's just laid bare in a way that it's much harder for them to run cover for. Doesn't mean they won't. Doesn't mean they haven't. But it's much harder for them to do so. Okay. Lawson Harrison, what do you have? I'm closing out, and here you are, last minute, coming in like a wrecking ball. Okay? You're muted. You're not saying shit because you're muted on your end.
Sorry. What's up, bud?
Talking about the group chat leaks. What do you got? Any thoughts? Briefly.
Honestly, I haven't read any of them. I mean, I listened to your whole stream, so I know what they said. But yeah, just the hypocrisy is incredible. Absolutely incredible.
I mean, yes. Well, thank you for being here.
But also,
what else you got?
anything can be funny. Nothing is sacred, and that's a principle I hold to.
If they're jokes, but again, as
Yeah,
Edmund
of
Gold
course.
said, a lot. If you think that all these things that they're saying are jokes, you're in for a rough 7 to 10 years, buddies. Okay, they're not jokes. Some of them are. Some of them are not.
Yeah,
and I don't know. I haven't taken a lot of Tylenol, so I'm able to tell the difference. Okay.
All right, then. I guess that'll be all.
Oh. Cool.
Good stream, bud. Catch you later.
Bye, I guess. Fair enough. Let's read some more responses, okay? From Oron McIntyre, 235,000 followers. These people just don't get it. You'll never be one of the good ones. The left will never shake your hand and tell you how much they admire your integrity. Their moral panics are not sincere. They're a weapon, and you only empower them when you treat them as legitimate. This is in response, again, to people saying, hey, we don't want people who say I love Hitler and joke about rape in our organization. That's a response, okay? These people do not care when people joke about Charlie Kirk because they do not care about these things only so much as the enemy team is doing it. They hold no actual principle on this, right? Some do. As we said, Seth Dillon here. Seth Dillon is a good one. He's one of the good guys, okay? And I will give him kudos for this. I will shake his hand and say that he has integrity. So, like that McIntyre F-slur, he just doesn't know what he's talking about, okay? If you're not calling out the bad actors, you're effectively covering for them, and I don't buy the unity excuse because everyone who makes it is busy attacking anyone with the courage to speak up. No consistency, no clarity, no commitment to the good, just pure tribalism. Seth Dillon is absolutely correct in this. I don't agree with a lot of his politics, but he has a principle, and he's one of the people who stand up for his principles against his own side, and he deserves kudos for that. He deserves accolades for that. He deserves to have his hand shook and said, thank you for your integrity. That's absolutely something that should happen, right? But you have all these people, right, running cover, and they just make shit up. Like this guy who's, look, this guy wants to fuck his sister, and we're going to show you that later, right? But he says this: the left wants you dead. You, your friends, your parents, your children, they want to eradicate you. They want you dead, your Trump voting grandma, your Christian neighbor, everyone. We have to crush the left forever. They make this fanfic of the world up in their head, and they are going to use it to justify their violence, their hate, their bad actions. That's the game plan. That's what they're doing right now, right? Hundreds of posts like this and thousands of likes on each post. Bro, wait, I denounced the leaked DMs. Showing a picture of a bunch of black people killing white people, apparently. Again, this is the fantasy that they have in their heads. That the left is all coming to kill them. That we all want them to die. And so we're all coming with guns and blades and clubs and going to kill them. This isn't true. But they like to pretend that it is. Because if they can pretend that it is, it justifies their bad actions against us. It justifies them stripping us of our rights, of our First Amendment protections. It justifies their bad actions. So they will pretend. They will make it up and then get high on their own supply and pretend what they just made up is true. They do this over and over and over again. It's crazy. It's insane. I think Jeff Jacoby, he says it best. The right no longer believes good character is essential in politics. Dishonesty, cruelty, bigotry, vengefulness, corruption, all of them can be excused in the interest of winning elections and consolidating power. And conservatives who recoil from such depravity, as decent conservatives always did, are smeared as weak and disloyal losers. That's your biggest problem. And this is a response to Matt Walsh saying the right doesn't stick together. That's our biggest problem by far. Conservatives are too quick to denounce each other, jump on dog piles, disavow, attack their allies. I said a few weeks ago that we all need to band together in the wake of Charlie's death. And the answer I got back from a lot of people on the right was basically no. Well, okay then, guys. We just lose instead. The left will keep up the united front. the left and the united front. I don't know why they believe this. The left is some united front. And defend their guys no matter what, while we keep throwing each other to the wolves at every opportunity. Great plan. Again, the biggest problem is that people like Matt Walsh have no principle. They only want to win. Winning is their only principle. And they will do whatever it takes, excuse whatever action it takes, no matter how depraved, no matter how degenerate, no matter how bad, no matter how evil, anything for the cause. They will do that. They will excuse it. They will run cover for it. We see this time and time again. We see this happening every single time, right? There are no enemies to the right. That's his motto. So anything that a right person on the right does should never be called out, should never be denounced, should never be decried. And a growing number of the right agrees with Matt Walsh. And a much smaller number agrees with people like James Lindsay and Seth Dillon, who are people who are on the right, who I disagree with politically, but have integrity, have principles, okay? Who say no to the win at all costs mentality that is poison to elections, right? That is poison. Any further thoughts? Otherwise, I'm going to end it here. What we got coming up? I do want to do a more official panel on this, so if you have big thoughts, if you want to defend these messages, get with me. We'll set it up. Tuesday, at 8 p.m. Eastern, Drew Pavlo and Loaderbox are going to be debating Reform UK and the migrant crisis in Britain. So tune in Tuesday, the 21st, at 8 p.m. Eastern to see that. And we're still setting up the shows for next week. We'll get it going. It should be fun. Jack Darko, if you wanna defend them, hit me up, and we will get you on the show. We'll get a panel started. Okay. The pleb says Loaderbox finally found someone. Good for him. Maybe. Did I miss any super chats or did I get them all? Let's see. Oh, old school member for 9 months says, dude, I sent it to your ex in Discord DMs. We got it. Thank you. And I think I got all the other super chats. Thank you for the money, gang. You should give me more. If you like this show, if you enjoyed what I had to say, or even if you didn't, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We do this kind of thing all the time. We go over issues of the day. I had big, strong feelings on this, and I gave them. So there you go. Anything else? No? No Cow Mike says, has Drew not proven himself dumb enough yet? Tenflix says, Jeb said you were scared. I invited him on. Someone tagged him to come on the show today. He didn't show up. He's invited next week if he wants to defend these in a panel setting. Linda would like to fight him and others, right? I'd love to have Jebtan and Lactoid against people on this, and they could defend it. Okay? I don't know what to tell you. Jebtan just ain't gonna get my attention for free. He's got to come be content. That's all. The Trib one says, I am a little upset that you didn't use mom jokes, Wick. Zero Fox says, Jeb is currently yapping in general chat. Of course he is, because he doesn't want to come on live. Anyway, I love you guys. We're going to end the stream. I'll talk to you guys maybe Monday. And Tuesday we have a show, and we're going to get some stuff together for next week. Talk to you later. Bye.